Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to look at the top 5 tanks for spotting. Yes, we haven't done a top 5 tanks for spotting in the game. But yeah, according to statistics, these are the best tanks currently to do a bit of spotting. Now, of course, ultimately, you're going to look at light tanks to get a bit of spotting, because they are the light tanks, they're the quicker tanks that you can get around the map a lot quicker than usual. But spotting has a little bit of an art to it, you know. You can't just run up to the team, spot them, and then you know, take fire. You know, it takes a little bit of, it doesn't take skill to spot, but it takes skill to learn how to do it properly and what to do after you have spotted the team. So the first tank is the Vickers, of course. It is a light tank that is a very, very good tank. And of course, it is great for spotting. So next, that is actually the 5th best tank for spotting in the game right now. Number 4 is, let's move on to number 4. So it isn't just light tanks that are good for spotting, because coming in at number 4 is the STB. Now, the STB is a fantastic tank. It really is a fantastic medium tank. Got a great turret, and I think a lot of the reason why this is up there as in the top 5 for spotting is the fact that you will rush to a ridge, you know, say like dead rail, you'll rush to a ridge and you'll spot just about anything, and you can hold that ridge because of how strong your turret is. So I'm not surprised at this being in the top 5 by all means, because like I said, I'd expect something even maybe something like the M48 pattern as well, because that's kind of the same. I don't think it's as good as the STB, but the turret's just as strong, and again, you can get up to in the middle of the map, on a ridge, and you can sort of spot anyone that comes that way. So yeah, you know, the STB is obviously better at doing that, but yeah, things like the pattern is pretty decent at doing it. It's not as quick, but I think definitely the STB is up there with the light tanks for spotting. Yes, it is a medium, but it could do an equally as good job as these light tanks. So the STB is number 4. Moving on to tank number 3. Now this is in order as well, going by the stats at the spot rate, the spot rate stats according to Blitz analysis. These are actually in order. So STB is number 4. Let's move on to number 3. And it is the T100 Light. Of course, another light tank in the list there. Again, I'd be surprised if there wasn't a lot of light tanks. I'd be surprised if there was tank destroyers and heavies, of course. But yeah, that T100 Light is the 3rd best tank right now to do a bit of spotting. And again, I do agree, it is a great spotter. It's low to the ground. You can get on a ridgeline and wait, pretty much like what we've just done there, where we sit in a bush. Yes, we were lucky to get away with there without getting shot, but actually we get very lucky. We do lose a little bit of hit points in a minute, but overall we get very, very lucky indeed. But I love this tank. Honestly, I do love the T100 Light. It's got great DPM. Obviously, it's not as good as it once was when it was first into the game. Like, it was amazing. It was a light tank with medium capabilities as such with the DPM. The DPM was crazy. Light tanks have never really been known. Nowadays, there's more tanks with sort of the DPM that this tank did have, but the light tanks have not really been there to do a lot of damage, you know, like especially per minute. 3,500, 3,600 were those of the like medium tanks, where those were the real damage per minute tanks. And the light tanks were more there to spot the tanks, you know, not to do as much damage as they do per minute, but more to spot the tanks. At least it gives your team, the earlier you spot the tanks, the better it is for your team, because you can spot them, then you can see where they're going, what way they're going, and then your team can make up their mind of where they're going to go. So yeah, there's, you know, it is a lot to it to spot tanks, and well, not just to spot tanks, like anyone can drive up to the middle of a map and spot tanks, but like I said earlier, it's what you do after you spot the tank that is very, very important. So the T100 is in at number 3. Let's move on to number 2. And we have another light tank, the Batchat. Yes, the Batchat has always been, it's been around for a long time. It was one of the first light tanks into the game. Actually, it was the first light tank in tier 10. And yeah, it's always been known for that spotter. You know, be the spotter. No, don't do the damage, be the spotter, and then run around the map. You know, rush around the map, release your clip, and then rush around the map again. That's always what the Batchat has been known to do, and that's why I love the Batchat. You know, it's different to all the other light tanks in tier 10. The fact that it is an auto-loader, the fact that it still has that speed. It's a very, very, very good tank in the right hands. It can be a dangerous tank, a little nuisance, and it's a carrier. You know, you can actually carry in this thing. If you're against 1 versus 3, because of that auto-loader, you can run around the map. If you're alone against 3 tanks and you can split them apart and you get a tank come in front of you with sort of 700-800 hit points, you can release your magazine, kill him, and run around the map again. So yeah, the Batchat is a very, very good tank. Definitely not surprised that it's number 2. But coming in at number 1 is a bit of a surprise for me. I thought it would be something like the Sheridan, but no, the Sheridan is not even in this list. So let's see what currently is the best tank in World of Tanks in tier 10 to spot in the game right now. Yes, the WZ1321. Yeah, it's not a fantastic tank. Like, a lot of people are actually saying it's probably one of the weaker tanks in the game. And to be honest, I do agree. Like, but it's doing something right. It is spotting, and yeah, it is a great spotter. In fact, it is still a light tank. So yeah, out of the list, we've seen 4 light tanks in the list, which is how it should be. And the reason why I wanted to do this video, when I looked at the stats for this the best spotters in the game, is the fact that people are doing their jobs properly when they are driving light tanks. You know, you get a lot of light tanks like that just sit at the back of the map, or well, pretty much they sit at the back of the map. But to see that there is 4 light tanks in this list, just does go to show that people are playing these light tanks right, and that is how they should be playing them. But like I said, if you're not a light tank player, make sure if you are playing a light tank, you do it properly, you play properly. Rush up as quick as you can to a decent position where you can spot the team, and then once you've spotted, then make up your mind what you are going to do next. Sometimes don't just stay there unless it is safe to do so. Don't just stay there in that position and fight. Sometimes you need to use the speed of the light tanks that they've got and rush around the map. You know, even something like here, spot the team and then go out of the way and then spot them from a different angle, or come behind them, or do whatever you want to do. But you use your brain a little bit when playing light tanks. They're not easy tanks to play, especially if you don't play them correctly. So is there any tanks you thought there would be in this top 5 list? As I've said, I expected something like the Sheridan to be here. Sadly, it's not. But I am surprised that this tank is up there at number 1. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.